From the short grass plains of the Serengeti to the floodplains of Pools, these are the stories from the wild. Hi everybody, welcome back to Above Africa Stories from the Wild. I am Francois Fourie, professional field guide and wildlife photographer, and I am back with an episode that I'm excited about because it is part 2 of our East African series, where I talk about our photographic safari that we had in February to go and view the calving season down in Ndutu in Tanzania and southern Serengeti. And today we are talking about Namiri Plains. So stay tuned. Okay, Namiri Plains. Wow. If you think Ndutu is an amazing destination, combining it with a place like Namiri Plains is unreal. Now, from Ndutu, we went to Namiri Plains, which meant we had about an hour and a half drive out of the Ndutu, which is in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, to get into the Serengeti National Park. Now, the Serengeti National Park, it's actually quite a cool little trip, and it's an amazing experience going through that gate, and you go over the mountain, and then as you go over that ridge, it's just Serengeti like you've seen in the movies. Now, the nice thing about the Serengeti National Park, which I prefer over the Mara, is you've got these rocky outcrops, which is a haven for leopards and lions and even cheetahs sometimes to go and get a nice vantage point. They like to go and scan the area there to see what it is to hunt. However, the pure scale of the animals that you see in the Serengeti is so vast that you can't even explain it to anybody. It is just ridiculous how many animals there are, and it's quite overwhelming, especially from a photographic point of view, because you think, oh, like, let's take a photo here, let's take a photo here, but in actual fact, you just drive in there and you're just in such awe of the amount of animals that you don't actually take photos. And what I've also learned is that you have to be quite selective on when you take photos, because a lot of the time when you are driving around, you want to take photos, like, it's probably not even worth taking a photo of a wildebeest herd standing 500 meters away with heat haze. So as a shot, just for reference, yes, but as a photographic shot, not. However, that I make it sound a little bit bad, but the photographic opportunities in the Serengeti, it is unreal, and we're going to get to it now. Anyway, we headed to an area and we stayed at a camp called Ulmara, which is part of the Antari group, and it is kind of on the eastern Serengeti side and in an area called Namiri Plains. Now, Namiri Plains was closed for a very long time to kind of rehabilitate and conserve, and it was opened up again to the public a number of years ago. So the game viewing in that area is really incredible, especially for cheetah. It's one of the best places for cheetah viewing in the Serengeti, and one of the highest densities as well, and we definitely saw that when we were there. We were there for 4 days, and you have to bear in mind when you go in February that you still have the possibility of rain during that time, but obviously you've got fairly closed vehicles, so it doesn't deter you too much. But you need to be aware of it, and you go there because of the calving season and part of the migration. So it's kind of a catch-22. You have to have one, but you're also going to potentially have the other one as well. So just something to bear in mind. But it's manageable. It's not the end of the world. But Namiri Plains, so the area that we were in, we were actually going for a number of specific reasons. One, we were looking for animals on these rocky outcrops. There's a number of very famous outcrops. The most famous one is gall copies. And you look for lions, you look for cheetah, you look for leopard on these rocky outcrops. So you'll see as you are driving, from far away, you'll take out your binoculars, look, there's a kopie, okay, let's go to that one, drive around and see if you can find anything. No, let's keep going. But as you drive, it is just wildebeest and zebra and gazelle and topi around every single corner. So it's not like there's no animals to see, but also it's quite a unique experience because you use your binoculars a lot. I know in the States you've got this term called glassing, where you take your binoculars and you just scan the horizon and the ridges for any animal movement, and you do that a lot in the Serengeti. So you basically drive and you stop and you see there is a little white dot, and you look through, oh, it's a pride of lions. Sometimes they are accessible, sometimes they are not. But believe me, if you're there, it's not going to be the last lions that you see. There's a lot of lions in the Serengeti. It's no joke. It is pretty incredible the amount of lions that we did see. So lions on the copies, or any predator on the copies, is the one thing that you look for. Dramatic skies or big blue open skies, those are the type of shots you're looking for. When you find lions or cheetahs on the ground, you still have big open skies, clean backgrounds. That is what you're looking for. That's what you want to try and photograph. Then we were also in the area where there is pretty good serval, specifically black serval or melanistic serval movement. We unfortunately didn't get to see the black serval. We really tried to look. It was seen the day before we arrived, and we really tried hard to try and find it, but unfortunately we just couldn't. The weather wasn't great. It was quite wet, so it made it a bit tricky. But that area that we usually go back to is where you look for black serval, and we're going back there again to hopefully find it next year, and photograph some black serval and normal serval as well. And then obviously cheetahs are, again, in the Serengeti, open grass plains. Cheetahs are dime a dozen. I think in the 4 days we were in Namiri Plains, we saw 10 cheetahs, if I'm not mistaken. And we saw some of them stalking. We didn't see a full hunt like we did in Ndutu, but we had really amazing photographic opportunities with the cheetahs. And the one challenging thing that you need to be very aware of when you are in the Serengeti is when the day gets a little bit warmer, you deal with a lot of heat haze, which makes very challenging for photography, usually to the point where there's not a lot that you can do with that photo. However, it's not a bad ploy to try and do like some high key images, which we did in that heat haze. That's kind of what I found is probably the best thing to try and do. So it's not the end of the world, but you need to be aware of it. There's a lot of heat haze, like from 10 o'clock all the way through to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're dealing with a lot of heat haze. It's just because it's so open and the heat just reflecting from the ground. It's natural that will happen. So cheetahs, we saw plenty of. Lions, my goodness, we saw a lot of lions. Anybody that knows me, I love male lions specifically. And we had this young male lion, which is incredibly big bodied, that we were driving away from a lioness that went on top of the rock, and we got some unreal photographs of her. But then we saw drove past this small little rocky outcrop, not even big, and his head just popped up. I was like, lion, 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 lion. And he was a little bit nervous, and he got up and moved, and we just looped around the rock, and he walked straight past us, looked at us, actually got a pretty amazing photograph of it. And again, it's just this vast openness, clean backgrounds, big skies. And if you can go as low as possible, then you really get some incredible, incredible photographs to your portfolio in the Serengeti. So we saw male lion. At one stage, we drove for I think it was about an 800-meter stretch, and we saw 3 different sets of lions, 2 coalitions and 1 pride. I mean, it was just it was silly at one stage. We were just trying, oh, lions, oh, lions, oh, lions. So really just amazing photographic opportunities. Namiri Plains is one of those places that is just incredible. And it is, if you're a wildlife photographer and you want to go and see it, you have to go to Namiri Plains. It is for sure worth every single minute out there. Definitely need to go there for at least 4 days and spend a good amount of time in that area to ensure that you get a good opportunity. But you will definitely get some amazing photographic opportunities, and we absolutely did. The guests got some incredible photographs, and we can't be more happy with the way that it ended up. Ulmara, the camp that we stayed at, beautiful tented camp. It is a stationary camp, so it's not a migration camp that moves with the migration. This camp is there year round, and really beautifully set up. The funny thing is, when we actually arrived at the camp, the one guest was staying in room 1. I was in room 2, if I remember the numbers correctly, or maybe it was 9 and 8. But I walked with them, and we have this Maasai warrior with us, with his red shukra that he's got over his shoulder, and he he told us, "Let's go to your room. Just be aware there's a male lion on your porch." And not even kidding, there was a male lion on the porch of the room that the guest was staying in, next to where I was staying. And we like walked to the camp, like the Maasai warriors, like, "No, come." And when we got there, I think they saw him just like walking away from the room. But what a way to kind of arrive at the camp, is with this big male lion lying literally on top of the porch. It was incredible. And there was actually a elephant carcass maybe about a kilometer or so away from camp, maybe a little bit further away. And we went past there on the first day just to see what was going on there. There were some hyenas and some vultures on that carcass, which, for some photographers are great photographic opportunity. Is often interaction between hyenas and vultures, the hyenas chasing the vultures off. But to be honest, we could not stay long because the stench was crazy. Whoa, I think I can still smell it. It was not great. So yeah, that was that was the camp that we stayed at. And then on our last day, you fly out from an airstrip called Serengeti, which is about an hour and a half's drive from the camp which we stayed at. So it's a full game drive. You leave early in the morning. Our flight, I think, was somewhere around 10. You get there at around 9:30 or so, and then you fly out. But we had a full game drive, and in that game drive, we saw a nice herd of elephants. We saw a big herd of buffalo, and then we actually saw a female leopard up a kagilia tree, or sausage tree, which was just before we had to go back. We were hoping we were going to find some more animals on the koppies. We really worked those koppies quite hard. But then we ended up with this female leopard lying in the tree, and it was a great way to end the trip. And we went to Serengeti airstrip, and we flew out, and that was it. But to give you a kind of overview of Namiri Plains, it is a must visit for any wildlife photographer that is looking to get that photographs of lions on top of rocks with a dramatic skyline. If you're lucky, you can get that black serval. You will for sure see cheetahs, because it's one of the densest populations of cheetahs, I think, in the Serengeti. So it's really a special place, and I can highly recommend anybody that is interested to go to the Serengeti to visit Namiri Plains. And again, if you want to join us on our annual photographic safari workshop to Ndutu and Namiri Plains, get in touch with us. I'll put a link in the description below, and there's still space available for February 2027. So get in touch and come and join myself and Marlon in the Serengeti, get some amazing photographs, create some unbelievable memories, have so much fun, and hopefully we will see you again on another trip. And yeah, if you want to join me on a safari, get in touch. I've got a number of trips for 2027. We're going to the Delta in Botswana, we're going to Mana Pools, we're going to Mashatu, we're going to the Kalahari. There's a lot that's happening next year, and I would love for you to join us on one of those amazing safaris. So please get in touch with me, follow us on socials, and in saying that, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, share this with all your friends. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. If you find it valuable, leave a comment, let us know. And again, if you want to join us on safari, let me know. Until then, I will see you all out in the field. Have a good one. Cheers.